Welcome to the Active Listening and Communication module for Residence Life Training. Staff members who complete this module should be able to employ effective communication skills, identify barriers to communication, recognize the importance of active listening, and discuss how active listening pertains to their role within residence life. So what is interpersonal communication? It occurs between two people, a sender and a receiver, that communicate multiple messages through various channels. The goal is to achieve a mutual understanding. This includes nonverbal communication as well. There are three components to communication: the message, the channel, and the noise. The message includes the words, signals, gestures, and nonverbal cues that are sent. The channel is the physical means of sending messages, which vary in their capacity to convey information. Face-to-face communication is richer than written word because you can observe nonverbal cues. Noise is any disruption or distortion that doesn't allow messages to pass on to receivers as intended. Noise can be physical, sociocultural, or language barriers. This includes complicated jargon, inappropriate body language, inattention, disinterest, and cultural differences. Here we see messages exchanged between two individuals. Both communicator sends and receives messages, verbal and nonverbal cues through various channels. They are constantly encoding and decoding messages. Encoding is the words spoken, while decoding is the words heard. You will see the noise that surrounds the communicators as well. In order to enhance communication, it is best to choose rich channels which convey more nonverbal communication. This means having face-to-face conversations in which you speak clearly and are aware of body language. Leaning forward slightly, using a healthy amount of eye contact, maintaining an open posture, and avoiding distracting movements are a few ways to better enhance the conversation. Barriers to communication consist of language, culture, poor relationships, and stress, among others. While some barriers will take time to overcome, some can be avoided by moving to a quiet room, sharing some tea or something soothing, or even taking a break from the conversation. It is important to remove these barriers so that the other person feels that they are heard and that both are understanding the same message. By removing the barriers, the relationship could be strengthened and trust could be built. Make sure that while you are having a conversation, you are listening to understand, not to reply. If you're finding it particularly difficult to concentrate on what someone is saying, try repeating their words mentally as they say them. This will reinforce their message and help you stay focused. Let's transition into a discussion on active listening. Why is it important? By being an attentive listener, you demonstrate to the speaker that you are engaged in the conversation. You are able to better grasp the speaker's meaning, leading to fewer errors and conflicts. Active listening helps build and maintain positive relationships. In order to help you understand this concept, here are 10 steps to make you the most attentive listener. Step 1. As we mentioned earlier, body language and eye contact are essential to demonstrating your undivided attention to the speaker. Step 2. Try not to make the speaker feel uncomfortable. Eye contact is important, but try not to stare them down. Take an opportunity to look away once in a while without looking distracted. Step 3. Keep an open mind. Reserve personal judgment and allow the speaker to finish their own sentences. Step 4. Consider what the speaker is saying carefully. Ensure that you're present in the conversation. Step 5. Don't interrupt the speaker. Doing so could give them the impression that what they are saying doesn't matter. It could also signal that you are trying to rush them or that the conversation is a contest. Lastly, avoid providing advice unless they are seeking it. Step 6. Confused about what the speaker is talking about? Ask for clarification, but wait until they are done speaking. Asking questions is a great way to show that you are actively listening. Step 7. Questions are great, but make sure that they relate to what is being discussed. Irrelevant questions can bring the conversation off topic, so bring the conversation back to the original topic if it leads astray. Step 8. Being empathetic is a great way to truly understand how the speaker is feeling. Feeling their emotions is a telltale sign that you are actively listening, but try not to sound sympathetic as this could come across as pity. Step 9. Give the speaker regular feedback. A simple nod can go a long way to showing you are actively listening. Step 10. You can learn a lot through a speaker's nonverbal cues. Interestingly, the majority of communication we have is nonverbal. Listening to tone and cadence in a speaker's voice, paying attention to how they are sitting, and their facial expressions are all good indicators of the speaker's mood and demeanor. So now that we have covered tips for effective active listening, how does it all apply to your role within residence life? The residence fellow position is both important and multifaceted. Therefore, active listening skills are essential to being the best support for your students and fellow staff members. Let us provide you with some examples. First, you are a direct support to your students. Active listening can help build rapport, provide them with necessary resources, comfort them in times of crisis, and allow you to utilize other resources within residence life. Second, you will have peers come to you for support or advice. Actively listening can help you understand the type of support your peer needs, provide appropriate advice if asked, and pass important information up to their residence manager if they are having difficulties with a peer or students on their floor. Lastly, you are working in a team, and at times it can be chaotic. While it is important to catch up and check in on your team during the weekly team meetings, be aware that this is a time to be productive. If you are actively listening to your peers, it will make the meeting go smoothly and everyone will be understood and what needs to be said will be heard. This concludes the Active Listening and Communication module. Staff members who have completed this module will be able to employ effective communication skills, identify barriers to communication, recognize the importance of active listening, and discuss how active listening pertains to their role within residence life. Thanks for listening to our module.